Hi everyone, I'm Holly. I am the maker and doer of all the things here at Missouri River Soap, and today I'm fresh out to the workshop. Now my goal today is make a couple of tallow soaps. I had done most of my prepping yesterday, and I had sent my husband into the store with the purpose of buying a heavy cream without, is it carrageenan? I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that word. And he got it and we were all very excited. And then I got to looking at it and it had gallon gum. And I just don't want to put any gums or anything into my soap. So I packed my orders yesterday and we headed back to town to see what else we could get. Because we always need to do something. So it wasn't a big deal. I didn't go to town just for something different. So as I was getting ready, my oils, my tallow was starting to solidify. So I knew, you know what, I'm done for today anyway, because it was like 4 o'clock. I was gonna have to heat up everything and then I wasn't gonna be ready to soap. And so we're back today. It is almost 11 o'clock in the morning. So this batch here, which is gonna be a little smaller, has no liquid oils in it yet. So this one's going to be a lot easier to work with, and I may end up doing it first because those will melt down and everything will go well pretty quickly. Now this one though is the one that I was prepped. So it is fully solidified with, well, you know, it's solidified. It's not hard as a rock or anything. But it has all of my liquid oils in here, and so that means I'm going to have to bring the entire batch up to temperature. And then from there, I'm going to have to let the entire batch cool back down. In this case, all I have to do is melt my hard oils, and then I will, the tallow and such, and then I will add the liquids, and it'll bring its temperature back down. So that's what we're going to do. That's my goal for today, is to make this. My plan is going to be honey cream unscented tallow soap. And then this one is going to be wild mint tallow soap. And I've got another batch I'm working on today as salt soap. So I'm just going to have myself a soap making day. So let me go put this on my stovetop over a low heat, both of them. I'm going to get them melted down, and meanwhile, we'll chat a little bit. Alright, so my plans were that I was going to remake my unscented tallow soap. I like to add sheep's milk yogurt and also goat milk kefir. I can't get sheep's milk yogurt right now. I used to be able to get it at Rose Hours, Natural Grocers, there's another health food store, just nothing. We can't find it. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to add cream to the soap and some honey, and then I have this doodad here, and we'll have a honey cream unscented soap. Well, then the whole cream thing didn't work out. So this is what we found. It is Grazier's brand, or Sierra Nevada, looks like they're, I don't know. Cream on top, grass-fed whole milk yogurt, plain. And the ingredients are pasteurized milk, non-fat milk, cream, and then the cultures. Isn't that beautiful? What an amazing container. It has a great textured feel to it. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to add any cream, but this has cream in it. So we're going to try using this cream on top Sierra Nevada Grazier's grass-fed whole milk yogurt plain. Looks like it's from California, and there's just a bunch of little things here. Anyway, yes, I'm very excited about this. So we're going to try this with some honey, and I may still put in some kefir. I'm deciding on that. So this is my silicone topper dealio, and it looks like kind of like how bubble wrap is, and it gives the whole idea of a honeycomb. So because this fits in this mold, which I'm thinking this is the mold it fits in, because I did end up cutting it down a little, and I think I need to possibly shave us just a smidgen off. So because it fits in this mold, this is the size of batch I'm going to do for the honey cream. I do think I might just trim that down just a little bit further. I will be adding honey to this batch, which has already been warmed up and dispersed with some water. Honey can be a very tricky thing to work with. It's going to try to overheat the batch because of the sugars, but not only that, it's going to leave speckles if you don't get it blended in well enough, honey spots, and they're really annoying. And so what I like to do is mix it with at least equal parts of distilled water that come from my batch. The honey and the water that it's mixed with is subtracted from my batch water, the water that I would mix with the sodium hydroxide. But it's not going to mix with the sodium hydroxide, it's just going to go into the batch on its own later. So I will have this ready to go and just double check that it is fully blended. That seems to be the way to go. So that's pretty much it for this batch. We do love an unscented soap, and we especially love an unscented tallow soap, me and my customers, so that's what we're going to do. So the smaller batch is going to be wild mint. Now I've made it before, but it turned out a little wonky. And just wonky in its coloring. I think I'd used spirulina, and I'm like, not doing that again. So my plan is just to mix a little bit of French green clay in it somehow. My most recent batch of rosemary mint was mostly green with some white swirls. So I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do to make sure that these look different. But I'm going to use peppermint essential oil and just the teeniest bit of spearmint. Spearmint has an extremely low usage rate, 0.25%, not 25, 0.25. So 1/4%, but it's enough. Oftentimes a low usage rate just means that it's stronger and it still comes through and does what it needs to do. I haven't quite decided what milk form I'm going to put in here. I'm not going to do honey in this one. I will probably do the goat milk kefir plus this yogurt. So that's pretty much it for being fresh in the studio. This is going to take a while. So it's about 11 right now, and I'll try to remember what time I can finally start making these batches. Okay, so let's get back to it. So it is about 1:30 now, and I've had to reheat these because I did just get busy on another project. So this is just the tallow, the coconut oil, and the shea butter. Now I have a fairly extensive tallow soap making video with recipes, so I will link that for you in the description down below. And so be sure to check that out if you just want to know more. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the extra goodies. So I'm going to add in sodium lactate. And this is all going to cool it down. I don't know if I mentioned it's about 107 degrees, so hopefully we don't cool down too much because I do want to soap it at a higher temperature. Okay. So now we need for castor oil. I still need quite a lot of stuff in here. So it probably will cool down quite a bit. Trying to be very careful because I don't want to go over. Oh, just a drip. Okay, so there's sodium lactate and the castor oil. Now I'm going to add olive oil, and in that other video I explain why I use all these oils with the tallow. I don't personally love 100% tallow soap. That's just me, might not be you. So I like to have this lovely blend of olive, and I'm going to stop for a second so I don't miss it. But the tallow with the olive, the coconut, the shea, and the castor. Okay. I don't think I actually need to weigh anything more there, so we'll stir it up. Let's see what the temperature is. 86 degrees. So I'm going to want to just get to this here just a moment. I have reheated my lye solution just a little bit, and it should be in the 80 range. Let's mix up our essential oil blend. So I'm using peppermint essential oil from Nurture Handmade. This smells so good. So this is, like I said before, just pretty much going to be, I've already forgot my number. Okay. I'm hoping I have enough left for another batch that I'm doing today. Yes, I will. Nice. Anyway, as mentioned before, we can't use spearmint that much, so I'm just putting in a tiny amount. I do love the smell of spearmint. Love them together. This tiny bottle lasts a long time. Very nice. Getting close to gone though. Essential oils have a very specific usage rates, very specific. So even though I can go to like EOCalc and I can work something up, I still have to check the IFRA for the specific one that I purchased at the time because it's often different. It smells so good. Actually, one of my wonderful customers who is also has Aussies has said that this is their favorite one that I do. So they wanted that back if I could, and I was already planning on it. I'm going to use French green clay to help give it a little bit of color. I'm not really looking for a lot of color payoff. I'm not looking for its, you know, properties of the French green clay to come through. I'm just looking for the color. We usually can use like 1 teaspoon or so per pound of oil of the clays. And so for me, that would be 12 teaspoons, but I'm only using 6, which is 2 tablespoons. All right, so now we're going to measure out the goat milk kefir, and I do like the Meyenberg brand. This is not shaking very well. It must be very full. Very full, very thick. All right, I was able to shake it up. I'm going to use just a couple of ounces of this. Ooh, that is some thick kefir. Well, I have more room. Maybe I can mix it up some more. It is just that thick today. All right, so now this is what I'm super excited about, is to get into this Grazier's. That does look nice. So let's look at that. It is definitely very thick. It says the cream is on the top. I think I'm gonna mix it up. I think that's the best bet though. And this is my spoon for out here, so I won't even be taking this in, but this will be just for soap. So I might have to whip out a couple more batches of tallow soap here in the next couple of days. Now, I am going to heat this up, even though it might damage, you know, some of the active cultures. Again, I'm not really looking for the benefits of it, but the feel of it. Yogurts, oh, just create an amazing feel in soap. All right, so now we're going to go. It's beautiful. Let's do the label so that, ooh, oh, nice. I love creamy things like this. Oh my goodness. I just get so excited. I've been just incredibly excited to make this soap. All right, pretty much there. So I kind of just go with 2% of my oil weight is what I use in milk in my soaps. That's just what I do. That's what I like. I don't like full milk soaps. Full milk soaps are amazing. I like to make these kind of soaps. So I like 2%. I feel like 2% I could work with it really well. Now, in this particular case, I could potentially add more. I'm not doing colors, you know, a bunch of stuff that where the batch could, you know, speed up. But I'm also looking at, I don't want it to overheat my batch either. All right, so here we go. The oils are 84 degrees. My lye solution is 81. My milks are 109 or so, which is fine. That's the way I like it. So the first thing I'm going to do is add in the clay. Now, clay does supposedly anchor essential oils. Some people put them actually in with their essential oils and let them blend in. I just pop them in. Whoa, that was wild. I just threw stuff everywheres. Alright, so since I made my lye solution yesterday, it does have a little bit of lye, plus it's also a reduced blend because I do save back some of that water to be used. Oh my goodness, things are happening over on my stovetop. Hold on. I wanted to get started on this because of my temps, but I also wanted to start heating up my lye solution, and I just do a water bath for that. And so in with this lye solution. And anyway, as I was saying, I don't know what I got in there, but the water portion that it says to use to mix up the lye solution, I have the sodium lactate. I now have the goat milk kefir and the yogurt. And so it's a little bit reduced, and that tends to cause more of this lye business, but it's not a big deal. We can just strain it off. All right, let's see how dark this clay goes. I feel like it darkens up a little bit with the lye solution. I so got ahead of myself, y'all. I am trying to keep it all together and it's not working apparently. So I usually like to blend that in really well. Were you yelling at me? I feel like you were. You knew, didn't you? You knew that I should have been putting this in. It's fine. It is very smoothed out because I heated it up. Heated? I just want to make sure I get all the little milk blobs mixed in. It's looking really good. I don't see any issues there. Can you see how it's lightened up quite a bit though? Now in my experience, even though I have to soak warmer, it does take a little bit longer for the tallow soap to come together. I'm going to go ahead and add in the essential oil blend, which is just a nice clear blend. So good. I'm kind of obsessed with the earthy peppermint at the moment. So I'm not even at a trace yet at all. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm mostly just going to sit and wait. Alright, so we are at a trace now. I have basically done nothing. I just cleaned off my stick blender a little bit and my table. I don't know if you can see how it's making a trace on the surface. So I would say we're past a light. We're definitely in more of a medium trace range, and I think this will be great to go ahead and pour. Let's just see what the temperature is just for fun. So it's 87. Just a real nice temperature working with. All right, so it's only been just a couple of moments, but it's getting thick, so we're gonna go ahead and pour it in. Just trying to see what camera angle is looking the best here. I try to grab screenshots sometimes and I realize that I've just been yammering the whole time, and so some of the shots will be cool, but my mouth is just always open. I can feel the heat coming off of it though, because I am soaping warmer than normal. And that's just because the tallow will solidify so quickly that I just don't want to deal with a false trace. Oh, that looks great. I anticipate that it is going to come back to more of a green color. Just kind of a light green. So I've been enjoying having a whisk to texture the tops as of late. And it just kind of makes just a fun look. So I just been blop blop back and forth, and it kind of gives more of that fun texture that I could do, say, with a chopstick or whatever, but it does a bunch of them at once, and so that's just super fun and I love it. And it's done, and it all looks amazing. So here we go. Here we have the wild mint soap. So I am going to get prepped and we're going to make the next one. Alright, so the oils for the honey cream soap are at 112. And so that's a smidgen warm. My lye solution over here is about 90. I'm going to go ahead and mix up my dairy products, and then I may go sit down for a minute and just let it wait. So for this batch, I'd probably use about 5.5 ounces, but I am going to 6. So I'm going to do 2 of this goat milk kefir again. And then I'm going to do 3 of this luscious yogurt. It's not as beautiful looking as even the sheep's milk yogurt. The sheep's milk yogurt is special. So now I'm going to go up to 6 ounces total, but it's beautiful and I really want to make more soap with it in the coming days, so I have to make more tallow soap tomorrow. I don't know what I could do though. Running a little low on essential oils at the moment. So what I'm going to do is just hold for a little bit, because I would like this to be more in the 90s, not in the 100 and teens. Alright, I think I'm just going to go ahead and work with this. What do we got going on now? So this one is now 108. And I have been sitting for a little bit. Now I'm starting to get bored. I have other things to do, but I need my countertops. And my lye solution is 89. So I'm just going to go with that for today. It's fine. Alright, so what I'm going to do is mix my honey and water mixture into the yogurt, and we'll just get that dispersed even further, because I really don't want to have honey spots. And I just used 1 ounce of honey and 1 ounce of water. I just don't want to overdo it. This smells amazing, and I just added the honey into it and it smells even more amazing than it did before. Okay, so let's add in this luscious mixture. Isn't that so good? So good. Alright, so that brought the temperature down a little bit, so that's good. So now we're going to add in the lye solution. I'm going to strain it out again. Okay, here we go. Alright, so we're still at a very thin trace. My biggest concern about stove being a little bit warmer is I just don't want this batch to overheat, which is just going to try to do anyway. So you can kind of see how the color has changed. Let's see what temperature it is now. So 105. That's pretty warm for me. I don't think I'm going to do much for as far as covering this up because it's going to have that silicone mat on it with the design. So I don't even have to really cover it up. So hopefully it'll be able to release its heat off the edges. I love this color. I so wish honey would stay this color in soap, but it doesn't. This is also the lye solution reacting with the yogurt and the milk. Alright, so I have to use my left arm to do this because I just am not strong enough otherwise. Oh, that's beautiful. It's so good. It smells just amazing. I love the smell of unscented milk soap. This one goes pretty high on the mold. Probably could have had it a little bit taller. Alright, so that's looking pretty good, but it's a bit thin still to be adding the silicone top. So I'm going to clean up and come back and do that. Alright, so let's go ahead and put on this mat. And I kind of want to, it's a little, I mean it's still a little wobbly, but I do want it to fit in the doodads here. Well, now I'm confuzzled on how I want to do this. Because it creates some air bubbles and that can just be a little bit weird. I guess I'm just going to go this way. I will end up smoothing them out a little bit. But if it has too much of the air bubbles in there, then it's a problem. And so I did trim it down a little bit. And hopefully it's just sitting in there very nicely. It's a little bit looser than the last time I used it, which I think is going to work out nicely because it's going to get all set in. So I think it's actually fine. I'm not seeing the big air bubbles that I had the last time I used it, but we'll see. There is a little ridge there. I just don't want to mess with it too much. But so that's pretty much it. I'm just going to let this do its thing, and I will be back in a couple of days to cut both of these soaps.